Alright, we're going to go over what has sold over the last week. And it was a decent amount, even though I could have swore some of this was last week, but not from when I looked at the video I did last week, so this is about where it was. So, not like I said, not as bad of a week as we've had before. So, first we're going to start off with this Squishmallow Polita 16-inch pink tabby cat. Sold that for 30 bucks free ship. And this one, of course, ended up going to Alaska. But it wasn't too bad because these fit decently in a 12, 12, 12. We kind of cut it down a couple inches. So shipping on it didn't end up being that bad. Next was this New York State Association of Fire Chiefs patch, $5.99. Next was this Wagner 915E power steamer. Sold it for $64.99 plus 25 ship. And I sold actually all of my steamers that I had from that Home Depot pallet. Listed them all last week and they all sold, which was great. Because when you look at the sell-through rate on this, it's actually not as good as it used to be. But you'll see the last at least 4 sales were mine. So that was good. Because these do take up quite a bit of space. And are, as you can see, on the valuable side. This one used, I think it's one of the ones where the wallpaper steamer had been used. I know that was the case on 2 of them. It was the wallpaper steamer. Ooh, actually, hold on, I haven't seen that patch. That ECMC patch, I actually want that. Okay, just tested like new condition. I didn't say, get too specific on it. Next was this Orbit, V-Hy-V, smart sprinkler timer. 40 bucks free ship on this, and this one, had the screen was damaged, but it was still functional. It just has that black spot on it. Next is this Friends. We'll just call this Friends. Pennsylvania Station 603. Fire Department $8.99. Next was this Wipe All brand. Heavy cleaning towels. 60 bucks on that. That came from the Staples pallet. So it's been almost a year I've had that Staples pallet. It wasn't really the greatest buy. It's a lot of this kind of like commercial, paper towels, toilet paper stuff that's hasn't really sold very well. And a file cabinet that came out of those I ended up keeping, but it's kind of junk. The drawers will randomly lock. And I think I ended up losing the key at this point. So, wasn't the greatest buy. I'd probably buy Staples again. But, it wasn't really the greatest buy. And they haven't had it pretty much since. I think that was one of the last last time they brought in Staples. It was one of the last ones. Next is this Aetna Volunteer Fire Rescue, $5.99. Next is this pair of Under Armour size 11 slides. Got these at the Kohl's clearance event in store. $6.15 on these. Sold it for $24.99. Free ship. And as you can see, I had 2 of them, which we'll get to get to that in a minute. Next is this Texas City, Texas Police, $6.99. Next is this Fort Richardson Fire Rescue at $7.99. There's the other pair of Under Armour slides, except for these pair ended up getting canceled. And the reason was it would take too long. You wanted them by Thursday, which I probably could have got. They probably could have got there by Thursday. It was going to Texas. And you ordered these like Friday night. So I mean, technically, if I would have had these at the house, I could have, told them I could ship it for Saturday, which I don't normally do. But it was no big deal. Relisted it, and then they ended up selling again. So that worked out. And actually, I had a third pair. I just didn't do the quantity right when I made the listing. So then I ended up relisting these again, and those haven't sold yet. Waiting on those to sell. So next was this another Wagner 915E steamer. This was time for 60 plus 30 ship. This was, I feel like there's steamers missing, or were those really last week? Like I said, I feel like I'm missing stuff. This doesn't seem right. But anyways, I listed it for 50, and this time I did 30 ship, because there was a guy who had messaged me asking if I'd send it to the Virgin Islands, and I agreed, and it cost about 30 bucks, so I decided, you know what, I'll relist it for 30 ship, and if he ends up buying it, I won't end up having to eat that $5 difference. And sure enough, he bought it again. Like I said, I only the two? I could have swore I sold more. Hell, this one, I think I probably did end up selling to him. It's probably the one I sold to him, because I sold him two. Interesting. Either way, I'm at just over halfway on that pallet already. So that is pretty good. And this semi-helped. This Wagner Flexio 3500 sprayer, 75 bucks free ship on this. And of course, it went to California. So that cost, actually ended up being $30 to ship. It was, because it has to go in a fairly big box, and it's fairly heavy. We're talking a Home Depot medium, so 22 by 16. I originally put by 8, but it ended up being by 9. So that jumped it up to $30, and it's 10 pounds. So that didn't help. That didn't quite make the money I wanted to. But I do have two other ones that I can hopefully not have to send to California. And then next is this City of Palm Beach Gardens, Florida Fire Department, $6.99. The City of Lansing Police at $4.99. And then last thing was this lot of Cavalcade magazines. That, as you can see, I just clearly copied the title, because the and more lot of 4 is not accurate. It's just these lot of 4 Cavalcade adult magazines that I got back from the other clean out job. And I've sold most of them at this point. There's only like 2 or 3 lots, I think, of like the Playboys and the Penthouses, and then there's a couple lots that I can't list. Just won't let me. It's getting auto flagged, so I don't know what I'm gonna do with those. I don't know if I could sell them on like Mercari, maybe. I'll have to see if there's somewhere else I can sell them, or just get rid of them, because there's not that many. There's only a couple, and they're not that valuable. Anyway, so it wouldn't be that big of a deal. Alright, moving on to the other account. Just this one Washington, D.C. Protective Services hat patch, $4.99 on that. And then 2 of these Austin, Texas subdued style at $5.99 a piece. So that's it for what is sold over the last week, and it wasn't too bad. No real word on if we're gonna get on getting any other inventory. I really, if anything, I need to not buy. I need to list some of the stuff I have. I need some cash flow, because it's not great, especially with buying that Home Depot pallet. The money is not great at the moment. I gotta try and get the money sit straight so that I'm not losing every month. Get it straightened out. So, to try and make this a profitable gig. So that's gonna be it for this week. We'll see you guys next week.